Welcome back. Well, today we are going to be repairing this JBL Bluetooth speaker, and yeah, it's kind of dirty. It was given to me because the USB port is all messed up. Seems to be a real common problem with these USB ports on everything. They get damaged after time and won't take a charge, so let's get into this thing. The easiest way to open these is to just run some type of a tool up under the edge of this here. There's a few little clips underneath the grill here. Basically just run these things over until all of them come loose. Sometimes it's easier to start on one side or the other. Let's find out which one is easiest. They are really clipped in there. There's one. There's another. And another and another. And my clip goes flying, or pry tool rather. Alright, let's go back onto the other side here. Alright, looks like we got those clips loose there. And then the whole thing just pops off like this. I'll set that aside. Once we get into it, then you'll see there are actually some screws down in here. Those buttons are actually covered with rubber, so you don't really have to worry too much about damaging those, trying to get the clips to release. And it would help if I get my Phillips bit back in there. There we go. Be careful of that ribbon cable. That actually goes through the top there, and it's glued down here, so it's not really an easy way to unplug that. I'll just leave that intact. Now it looks like the board here that has the connector on it, it's pretty hard to get to. They've got it's squished in here, looks like it's glued on the bottom, and back side of that connector looks like it's got some silicone on it. I'll pause for a second and try to figure out a easy approach to this. Alright, what I've looked at here, I've taken the little passive radiator off the end so I can see on the inside, and all of this is glued together, as you can see, and there's not really an easy way to get that glue off. And so what I'm deciding to do is there is a little bit of play in this board. You can pull it up just a little, but you don't want to pull it too far because there are wires that go down through on the inside of this silicone here. But you can raise it up just a little bit, like that. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull it up enough to where I can get my desoldering tool in here and just pull that connector off. I'm just going to leave it all in place. I think that's about the safest way to tackle this, because otherwise I'm going to have to tear all this glue out and risk damaging these cables, and also have to pull all this silicone out of here and risk damaging the wires that go further down into the unit. So I'm just going to leave that alone and just do it in place there. And I'll just hold this board down here while I do that. I'll grab my tool here. There's a little piece of paper or something stuffed in there. What I'm going to try to do, because I'm so close to the edge there, I don't want to risk damaging the plastic. There is this piece here. It looks like that's pretty bent. Of course, the whole connector is kind of bent, so I'm not really surprised. I'll try again let me see if this is actually stuck to the board there on that. Looks like all of it except this pin here, and of course this one. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this one unsoldered, and then I'm just going to apply some heat to this and pull it out. I'll give it one more try before I go that route and see if I can get that in there enough. Let's see here. Okay, this turned out to be a little bit more complicated. The pins that I was looking at there, which I was thinking was the backside of the USB, I wasn't really paying too much attention there because the other connector behind it is 3 pins. This one here is 4 pins, which is I'm guessing power and other connections. But if you look here at this board, I was able to pull it up a little bit further and just unsolder the whole piece. And this is actually the typical surface mount type USB connector. And so I just decided to go ahead and pull the whole board out because in order to get to the back side of this, I would have to be able to see it better. So, I just went ahead and I already had these unsoldered. I just unsoldered those there. And this piece here is still bent, so I'm just going to heat it up and pull it off. And it looks like all the pins are already ripped off the board anyway. So I'm just going to clean that up and unsolder that piece there. I'll do that now. Actually, let's pull this over like that. And that connector is pretty badly damaged, but luckily all those pads came right off and the board is not damaged, so that's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this board for the new connector. There. Put a little bit of flux on that there. The board itself actually looks really good. This black on it is just the silicone from the other piece there. They have the connectors. Just have to be careful. There are some little resistors there. Get some alcohol and clean that the rest of the way up. Yeah, the board actually looks really good, so I'll grab the new connector. New connector here. There's such close quarters in here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and use the soldering iron to get this thing in there. There's no need in putting more heat on the board being this tiny. And go ahead and solder the main pieces of the outside edge here. I'm just going to start off with that one. Zoom in because it's going to be really hard to see this. basically I just put some solder here. Get that to hold down to the edge there. Had some dust on that speaker there. Solder that back side, and then we'll work on getting the others. You want to make sure this is completely flush. I'm just going to heat that up from the front side. There we go. For those connectors on the back, and this is going to be tricky. I think what I'm going to do is just flood solder on the whole connector there, and then just wick off the excess. Some of these really small connectors, when you have to solder them, it's an easy way to get that done. If I can find my solder wick here. Alright, here we go. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. But it actually came out pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and solder these other outside edges here. Alright, I'm going to zoom back out. Go ahead and try to get this thing reassembled. I'm going to pause for a second. I can't see this too well and video at the same time. Alrighty, well I got that back in there. I really wanted to get it on camera, but it was nearly impossible to try to solder all that in and get a good angle on the video. But basically I just soldered back in those two other connectors, and we're good to go. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and start putting it all back together, and then we're going to give it a test. Alright, I got the little passive radiator back on the side there. And we're going to go ahead and close this thing back up. And I want to make sure that I'm not messing up with the screw holes here, because there are two different sets. If we look at that, we're gonna need to put these here on the top, and then the bottom, and then the bottom. I'm going to try to clean up some of this on here. Alright, I cleaned this up. Looks pretty good. So we're going to snap this back on. Make sure I get it the right way around. All the controls are on this side, so this is the part you kind of have to be careful with because you don't want to overflex the plastic and break the cover. It's like a little pin that kind of lines up on this back side here. Okay, got that side. Got that one. Alright, it's back together. I'll go ahead and check the charger before it rolls away. And it is charging. Go ahead and turn it on. Alright, we got it paired, so let's test it out here. I'm sure the battery will need to be charged for a while. This thing has been sitting forever. But it is working. And that's what we were trying to accomplish. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. And please subscribe. And there'll be many more videos coming up. Thanks for watching.